I I've been dealing with so many comments and reading through other forums. I'm trying to understand what people think about Bitcoin. It's interesting that still in the 21st century and in 2022, people still tend to characterize Bitcoin as only a currency. Bitcoin is not a currency only. By the way, there's a big difference between finance and technology. Bitcoin is a technology. That's the name. Bitcoin is a technology, which is way different from finance. And that's the prevailing argument. People lose money. Not necessarily they lose money. They buy Bitcoin or they invest in Bitcoin, and let's say the price drops, then they start characterizing Bitcoin as a scam. It's like saying mobile money. Like I'm trying to send money from my mobile money account to another different account, and that is negligence. And I mistakenly send that money to a different account, and the person probably couldn't recredit my account. So I end up saying, let's say this network is a scam. No, the network is a technological network. It has nothing to do with money. They just added a layer on top of it that includes money. You understand? So that's how most people characterize Bitcoin. They deal with the very financial side of it and they lose money and they tend to criticize the platform. Well, this is a basic of the platform. Bitcoin is the whole concept of Bitcoin is transparency. The whole concept of Bitcoin is neutrality. The whole concept of Bitcoin is freedom, financial freedom, whereby you can transact from one point to another point without intermediaries. In other words, you can move outputs from one wallet to another wallet without anybody auditing you and asking you why you send this money or what is the purpose of this transaction. It's like it takes away the middle person, and that's the whole concept of Bitcoin: freedom on the interwebs or the freedom on the cyberspace. But the currency side is whereby most people tend to, because most people tend to focus on the money side of Bitcoin. If you want to appreciate Bitcoin holistically, first of all, you have to embrace the technology. I came in as a tech guy, so I have to extract the crystal ingenuity of Bitcoin. In other words, I have to embrace the tech side of it because the technology is sound, is resilient, is robustful, has never been hacked. The blockchain has never been hacked. And once I familiarize myself with the technology, now I have to deal with the finance. That's where you make money. That's how you accumulate. But most people are also not losing money, especially when you are mining. Mining is more or less like you are verifying transactions on the blockchain and being compensated for that. It's similar to the guy who is using MTN mobile money wallet, or sorry, MTN mobile money phone, verifying transactions on behalf of the network and getting compensated for that. That's the same analogy, but one is centralized, another is decentralized. Bitcoin is a decentralized algorithm. And, so the currency side, that's what most people have to understand, that if you want to invest in an asset which is very speculative and very volatile, you have to understand that you need a reference crypto, kind of like something that you have to lean towards before you make financial decisions. Otherwise, you're just guessing. The problem most people is you buy based on what people are saying. Well, it's going up, buy. It's going down, buy. The question is, if it's going up, how can you tell? It's going down, how can you tell? You understand? That's the financial side of it. Trading, investing, and all this yada 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 that most people tend to focus on. I mean, everybody wants to make money on Bitcoin, but the question is, how do you make money? So that's why during my time in 2017, hunting for truth, trying to understand how this technology works, I was trying to search for more or less like a script that gives you insight into the very direction of an asset. Like, I want to accumulate Bitcoin trading. I want to accumulate Bitcoin investing, but at the same time, I have to be sure of what I'm doing, and I have to understand the patterns of the assets that I'm trying to trade or trying to invest in. So I ended up working with a company called Market Cipher. Market Cipher is by far one of the best scripts out there. It gives you insight into the very direction of an asset that you're trying to trade or trying to invest. So basically, the asset that you're trying to trade, whether Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other assets, commodities or stocks, this script gives you insights, right? So what are you tracking? You're tracking liquidity, which is money, right? This is liquid, this is money, and you're tracking momentum. So it's like two most influential oscillators that determines the uprise or a downtrend of an asset. That's what you're investing. That's what you are using to track that asset. So in other words, if you have access to the money flow backing an asset, because every asset is backed by liquidity and momentum, which is a force, then you have that third eyes. You understand? So it's like You know what is happening right now. You're not guessing. So market cipher now gives me that kind of a leverage. It gives me that kind of an upper hand to understand the very direction of the asset I'm trying to invest or trade. That is financial side. That is not technology. That is finance. So a lot of time most people are like, it's going down. Of course, it's normal. Every asset gets corrected. Correction is part of every asset. But the question is, how do you know it's getting corrected? Market cyber gives you that kind of, and again, it gives you that kind of eyes. Because in trading, you have something called the overbought and the oversold. The overbought is whereby the price of an asset has reached a point whereby there has to be corrected. It's like in 2017, Bitcoin moved from $700 to $20,000 within a space of 11 months. That is a time to get out, because if you made almost like, I mean, you've made a roughly enough profits with a $700 investment, it's time to take your profits and just move on and wait for the cycle to readjust itself, or market to readjust itself. That is common knowledge or common sense. But the problem, most people enter at 20,000 thinking it's going to 30,000. You were late because of fear of missing out. You were late. You probably entered 20,000. So in 2018, this is what happened. In 2018, Bitcoin was in, like, we were around 20,000. That is correction happening. So after the correction, it went to almost 3,000. So in 2018, that was the whole year of bearishness of crypto. Like, Bitcoin was down. It happens all the time because it's a cycle. The asset gets corrected, but you don't know, so you think it's going to 20,000. Sorry, it's going to 30,000. Then it gets corrected on you. It's a cycle. Every asset with no fundamental value really doesn't get corrected once. Once after the correction, that's it. The asset loses its value because there's no any other fundamental value back in the assets. Bitcoin has a fundamental value. The ability to hold it and spend it on your own has a limited supply of 21 million. That is a fundamental value. But just because you've seen Bitcoin move from $60,000 to 20,000 doesn't mean Bitcoin is dead. It's correction. It's a cycle. So market cipher gives you that kind of an eyes. And again, how do I know there's an overbought and there's an oversold? Market cipher gives you that kind of a leverage. So it's like, do I care when Bitcoin is down? No, I don't care. It's normal. This is the very best time to even acclimate if you are investing. But if you are trading, market cipher again simplifies, make it easier for you to trade. You understand? So it's a win-win for you once you have a script that gives you insight into the very direction of the asset that you're trying to trade. So it takes away the burden of guessing and I hear say, no, that doesn't work in Wall Street. Wall Street is not a place of guessing. So it is what happened in 2020. Warren Buffett was hesitant in stocks while stocks were appreciating its all-time highs. And so, like, it makes sense because in 2020 it was more or less like a global pandemic, and there was nothing like any productivity going on. So how stocks be going up? The value of stocks being going up because Warren is a smart guy. He's an insider, so he knows what's happening. You don't know. So in Wall Street, there's something called smart money versus dumb money. Follow the person who knows the road. Smart money people knows the road. You don't know the road. But market cipher gives you that kind of eyes that gives you more or less like the third eyes to know the road. So in short, I just want to just clarify the difference between technology and finance. Bitcoin is technology first before financial side because it started as a geeky experiment. It was the financial guys that propelled Bitcoin to that mainstream conversation because they started comparing Bitcoin to the US dollar. You understand? Because the US dollar is the world reserve currency and most every central bank holds the US dollar in their treasury bills or their treasury balance. So it's like Bitcoin now became that conversation. It's like we have to compare Bitcoin to the dollar because Bitcoin more or less like surpasses the dollar in terms of almost everything. Bitcoin has a limited supply. It has 8 decimal places. It's using decentralization. Bitcoin is not a work in progress currency. It's a finished product. It's a perfected. Bitcoin has perfected the very flaws in traditional fiat currencies. That's what I'm trying to clarify. So it's like the more you study the technology and the finance, the more you tend to embrace the whole things. Like Bitcoin is way advanced beyond. I mean, there is no way you can stop this thing. It's 16% of American population are using it, so it's time to embrace this change. It's a wave coming, and those who understood Bitcoin right from the very onset are now profiting a lot. And if you want to trade, then you need eyes to trade. If you want to invest, you also need eyes. But to characterize Bitcoin as a scam or a Ponzi or something like it's way. It sounds like ignorance. It's like you shouldn't make that statement. You have to understand the technology first, then learn the financial side for yourself. You understand? So Bitcoin is the future. The Web 3.0 is the future. Decentralization is the future. There's so many things happening on the blockchains. There's so many experiments. And when I talk about experiments, we have so many alternative currencies that are promising you certain things, but most of them are just purely, I mean, they are just scams, no fundamental value. It's just promising you that we are going to change something on the blockchain. I mean, it's normal. I mean, but 90% of all companies that start up are obviously going to zero. It's normal, and I've seen that kind of trend in 2017, where so many initial coin offerings similar to initial public offerings being raised on the Ethereum blockchain, and they were promising so many things. And during the test of times or moments of utility, these companies couldn't stand, and they just faded off. Bitcoin is still here. Bitcoin is, I think, it's almost like 10 or 11 years old. Technology is still sound. The financial side is very speculative and very manipulative. Even though Bitcoin has a market dominance of almost like 42%, there's still more to be done, and there's still more education to be spread across the world. Don't rush to make the money. Educate yourself, build your knowledge, and once you understand Bitcoin for yourself, well, understand Bitcoin for yourself. That's what I'm trying to say, and try to sift all the noise, the background noises in the crypto. A lot of people talk. Everybody's a geek there. That's something about technology. Everybody tries to be the big shots, but just get the fundamentals. Bitcoin is the mother of all cryptocurrencies, and just embrace the technology for yourself. Learn the financial side for yourself. Build your knowledge, and yeah, you're going to make money with Bitcoin if you want to. But at the same time, don't gamble, don't bet. You have to back your financial decisions with some levels of empirical data. Other than that, you're just gambling. So yep, this is me trying to explain Bitcoin for beginners, people who don't understand Bitcoin, still have doubt. This technology is so sound. I do have a Discord. It's in the channel. If you want to also acquire market cipher for yourself and understand, the links are all in the description. So basically, build your knowledge for yourself, and don't worry yourself trying to make money for now. Build your knowledge, and until then, have a nice time, people. Peace.